Yes, yes, yes. Dang. The alert almost threw me. Kind of did. Kind of threw me for a fraction of a second. Threw me for a fraction of a second. Okay. You are in tune to Boxing Talk with Raphie. And what number are we on? 310. Shout out to consistency. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today, you are in tune to Boxing Talk with Raphie. And we're looking at, what we're going to be looking at, we're looking at a bunch of things. We're looking at a bunch of things, holy things, acrocos baga things. And yeah, let's gently slide into this one. Okay, so what we're looking at, first things first, let's get the thumbnail up. Numero uno. Let's get this thing in. All right, where are we? Boom, boom, boom. Getting slick with it. Okay, so feast your eyes on that. Have a butchers at that. Feast your eyes on that. Whilst I share this thing. Let's have a looky. Let's have a little looky. And let's kill the volume on that while I locate, seek, identify, boom, and share. Let's do this. I could have done that with one step less. Okay, remember that for future. Could have done that with, well, actually, it's a few steps less. This way is the long way. What the hell's going on? Okay, put that there. Boom. We are live. Mike Buffer voice. As in Mike Buffer, whoever his name is. Let's copy them two of them. And drop it over there. Boom. Okay. Shared in two good locations. And let's get into this shiznix. Who we got? We got the Cal L up in the building. Salute to the Combat Radio Nation. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. And hit the bell icon for notifications. We got the NC7282 up in the building. They got the Philip Carl Roberts up in the building. What's that? I've received a notification, a secret notification. Where the hell? I heard the notification, but I can't see the notification. What's this going on here then? What's this? I saw a Wilder interview earlier. They asked about the costume, the egg weight, but forgot to ask about the autopsy. The costume and the egg weight. I got to check that out. Not now, of course, but later on. Okay. Let me take a deep breath as we enter into this thing, this endeavor. Okay. And as per usual, I never really know where I'm going to start. I like to leave the thing open to improvisation. Let's have a look at the picture. Let's have a look at the picture. If a picture told 1,000 words, and it's the picture right there. Okay, I think I'm gonna go over. To. We know where we're gonna have to start. We know exactly where we're gonna have to start. So let's start sharing. Let's not mess about. Stop sharing that and start sharing this. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So let's pause that. You see what I can see? Yes. So let's go large. And let's get a bit of volume on that shiznix. And yeah, we're starting there. Okay, yes. Leon Figures up in the building. Okay, good to have you up in here. Good to have you join us. Now, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Now, can you please explain what happened with Caleb Plant at the press conference?
No, what happened is he started talking.
Please explain. Can you please
Okay, so you will all have seen, or most of you will now have heard, have seen the altercation, the mini brawl, the spat at the press conference. OMG, John D. Lee has decided to join us. How you doing, John? Okay, so most of you will have seen by now. Let me drop the link. How rude of me. How rude of me. Boom. There's the link in the chat. Let me go. Dang. How rude of me. Dang. How rude of me. Dang. Okay, we did an impromptu sound check. Okay, so let me just pin that. Okay, that's pinned. All right, let's continue. Okay, so most of you by now will have seen or have heard of the altercation, the spat that happened at the press conference, press conference for Alvarez versus Plant. And without further ado, I did a little quick live on it last night. Hopefully most of you will have caught that. Anybody who attended, mucho grazie. Okay. Plant shouldn't have off Canelo. Now he'll get knocked down 2 rounds earlier than he would have pre-press conference. Big boys boxing up in the building. Okay, yeah, it's not a good idea to pee Canelo off, but hey, let's get into this shiznix. Go on.
Now, can you please explain what happened with Caleb Plant at the press conference?
No, what happened is he started talking a lot of things and I answered and then the bad thing he said so you can say whatever you want to me, but not to my mother. My mother is not here, nothing to do here.
This big house is talking a load of. This big house is talking a load of. This is the same mother who called, what was it, Dimitri Andrade, the MF word. I'm pretty sure he called him more than one time. And now this mother is saying that he don't like being called a mother because it's disrespectful to his mother. Are you ting me right now? Are you ting me right now? You must be having a bloody laugh. Anyway, let us continue.
So that's why I pushed him, and then he come back with a left hook. That's why happened. What
is this guy, habitual liar or what? Is this guy an habitual liar or what? Let's continue.
Why does that word set you off so much? Why did that upset you so much?
He say that's not good for me.
So that's, you draw the line at that word.
Yeah.
Okay.
You pass the line.
You pass the line.
So,
you pass the line.
He say that's not good for me.
So that's, you draw the line at that word.
Yeah.
Okay.
You pass the line.
So
you pass the line. OMG. John D. Lee, talk to me. How you doing?
No, I'm good, thanks, Raph. How are you?
Good shizzle. Got home early. Ate early. Did I say early? Ate early.
Hurly burly.
Early burly. I ate early. Hey, it's a tongue twister. I ate early, and had the luxury of a nap. So still woke up dog tired because I had a late night last night. We won't go into that, John.
It's a family show.
It's a family show. Anyway, I'm good now. I'm getting refreshed. Woke up still a bit groggy, but I'm getting refreshed now. Once the show starts, it's show time and it's go time. Talk to me about this mother.
I'm gonna just be a massive party pooper.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's all staged because they didn't think the numbers were going to be any good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to be such a, I don't believe any of this.
Right.
I mean, the cut looks real.
Do you know the Caleb Plant's cut? Have you seen the cut?
Yeah, but the thing with the cut, right?
Yeah.
They really had to obviously slap each other.
Yeah.
So that can happen in that process. It's like in wrestling, people get injuries and what should we call it, but it doesn't stop it from being staged. They're probably quite pleased about it because it makes it look more real.
Yeah.
It's not severe enough to delay the fight, and I have no doubt this will increase the number of pay-per-view sales in America.
No doubt.
None. I'll tell you one thing though. I think he needs to start his cleanse cycle fairly soon because he's looking a bit chubby to me.
He's looking bulky.
He looks like a fat kid. Have you seen his face?
It's all muscle. It's all muscle, mate. Trust me, it's all muscle.
You don't see muscle in the cheeks like that.
Cheeks muscle. He's got the jaw muscles of a cheetah. He's got them jaw muscles like Ice-T's wife. Have you seen Ice-T? What's her name? Coco. Let's bring up Coco.
Hey, Raphie, I've never done any cheating. I mean, I've got some hefty jaw muscles going on. You get it from training, you know. So, I grip the teeth on every rep. It's got to have an impact.
Yeah, I've never done any GH, but you know, I've got a sturdy head.
It's not that. It's just I don't think his face is going to look this chubby in 8 weeks' time.
No, it won't. But he's going to be cutting weight though. He's going to be cutting weight. So
I'm suggesting that the clenbuterol may come in handy for that.
Yeah. No question about it. No question.
And now they have like a legal limit, don't they? So.
They do have a legal limit for the clenbuterol. But let's draw up for the cheek. We're talking about jaw muscles. Let's have a look at jaw muscles for comparison. How do I do this? It's quite simple. I just simply stop sharing that for a while, and we look at the jaw muscles of Ice-T's wife. Now look at that. She's got her hair in the way. That's not the best picture. That is not the best picture. Where are her jaw muscles accentuated? On a solo pic. Where is it? There is it. Don't fail me now. There's better pictures than that.
Further,
jaw muscles.
I don't think you're looking at the cheek muscles there, Raf.
Let's look at the older. No,
I think you're observing the posterior chain there.
Well, you know, I'm just looking.
It's a very
jaw muscles, mate. I don't know what you're thinking.
I'm thinking the spina erecta is looking pretty good. Glute medius has been trained. Like there's some work's gone into that.
Let's look at the jaw. Let's look at the jaw muscles of Ice-T's missus.
I'm sure you can get a more effective picture for the jaw muscles than that one.
Let's look at the jaw muscles. Mr. Dawkins. Oh, mate. We're talking about jaw muscles, folks. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I'm talking about the whole posterior chain here, which is very important for maintaining good posture into old middle-aged and beyond. I'm presuming Ice-T's wife is, even if she's a bit younger than Ice-T, she's a bit, she must be approaching middle age now.
Middle-aged woman now.
So, you know, to maintain a good posture, you need to train the entire posterior chain.
You must train the posterior chain. And
lower traps, spina erectus, glute medius and max, and the hamstrings. They all need work.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the crack.
No, I'm with Ronald Reagan on that one, Raph. Just saying
no. No, the crachiotus. I'm talking about the
crachiotus. Oh, okay. Sorry.
The lower crachiotus. Okay, enough of that. Let's maintain a degree of whatever I've forgotten. Okay, so
I think it's clear that there's been a greater amount of enhancement going on here. Then there may have been some enhancement going on with Ice-T's good lady wife. But I do feel there's been more chemical enhancement going on here, personally.
Canelo, I almost said Ice-T's mind. Canelo fights like an indestructible robot.
It's a good stack. It's an excellent stack.
Got to be on something. Let's have a sense of decorum. Dr. Woodok came through for the first time ever. I'm joking, Dr. Woodok. Decorum indeed. Decorum indeed. Okay, so let's get back on track. What's this cat? This cat's talking about what? It's talking about what?
That you lost so much. Why did that upset you so much?
He say that's not good for me.
So you draw the line at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You pass the line.
You passed the line. You passed the line. Okay, so I'm pretty damn sure that I've heard Canelo use the word mother before.
Yeah. And I believe
now he's saying that when you use that word to him, you've crossed the line.
I think it was even slightly worse than that, Raphie, because I believe at the time, the gentleman who he was insulting, that gentleman's father was present as well.
I remember that. The gentleman in question is, of course, Demetrius Andrade. And his father was present and he used that word, so I don't see how the Canelo's got any argument, if that's his argument, if that's why he decided to.
But not only do I believe that the fracas was staged, I think this statement has also been pre-written and re-rehearsed.
Yeah. I don't give any of them cats credit. I think you're giving them cats a lot of credit for ingenuity and creativity. I don't give none of them cats any credit for creativity and ingenuity to stage this whole thing. I understand that is an argument, and some people will have it. I don't give them the credit. I don't give them the credit for that. I think this is merely. I think Caleb Plant, I think is closer to the mark, in my humble opinion. And Caleb Plant's view was that Canelo Alvarez was raging.
Well, yeah, but hold on a minute. There's been a lot of talk about this, whether Caleb's blow landed or didn't land.
Yeah.
You know, some people think it's a bit like Ali's Phantom Punch. Other people definitely saw it. I don't care either way. The intent came from Caleb originally.
No, Caleb didn't touch him. It was Canelo.
No. Rewind the footage. Caleb's supposed to have thrown the first blow.
No.
Canelo fans.
You're forgetting about the push.
Oh, the push.
The assault started with the push.
Oh, okay. Yeah, technically, I suppose. Yeah, you're right.
The fight, Dr. We have another visitor. Let him announce himself.
Fight Doctor's in the house on Rick James status, as always. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening to the Fight Doctor. Talk to me.
So, here's what I think. Now,
I'm going to go and get a drink.
All right. So, it looks to me as if Alvarez is acting a bit out of character. Now, I'm sure that's not the first time he's heard the term mother blinker before. And, when you have press conferences and the face-off, whatever, trash talking is part of the deal. And I don't think I've ever seen Alvarez react in this manner before. Now, here's what I do know, is that Plant is, in my mind, he doesn't fit the same mold as Alvarez's recent opposition. Meaning, Alvarez didn't get the same memo that those guys got, right? So, the last 3 or 4 fights were essentially, in my mind, cherry picks. There's something going on. The guy's coming off of a bad performance or a recent knockout loss, or the guy, had no business being in the ring in the first place, or a short training camp, whatever it was. Caleb Plant did not get that memo, right? This guy, he isn't showing up for a paycheck. He's actually turning up for a fight, or at least it looks to me as if he's turning up for a fight. And I just don't think that Alvarez has been in this position in a while, where he's facing opposition who's actually there to fight and not necessarily to lay down. So you compound that with all of the accusations that have been gone, the ped use, the failed drug tests, and all the negative energy that comes along with that, where the Reynoso camp members have been subject to lately. And I just kind of think that maybe perhaps, all this noise going on in Alvarez's head is starting to bother him a bit, I heard someone say earlier that perhaps Caleb Plant is living rent-free inside Alvarez's head, and I'm inclined to agree to a certain degree.
You see, Raphie, I would like to point out, I don't think it was the fighter's idea to come up with this staged event.
Yeah.
I think there's plenty of people who watch WWE, understand how, you want to drum up a bit of spice and interest in a fight. That I don't think there was a huge amount of
those guys. You think those 2 guys are such good actors because they played? If that was staged, that was some excellent acting. No, we're talking about Oscar. We're talking about Oscar.
Well, maybe I'm being overly cynical. Maybe it's all real, and there's some real needle in there. I'm just really skeptical. Whether I'm right or wrong about the intent behind it, I think it's going to make it sell more.
No, I agree with that. I agree. This is whether it was staged, which I don't believe, because neither of them 2 cats are as wooden as they come in front of a mic. But all of a sudden, they've pulled out an Oscar-worthy performance.
Yeah, but it wasn't like in front of a mic, was it? It was like a bit of argy-bargy in a press conference, which they are fighters. They know how to do a bit of argy-bargy.
They know how to do that.
When they're talking about it afterwards, they managed to revert to their wooden composure, didn't they?
Yeah, they wouldn't.
Yeah, they went straight back to wood as soon as you put a microphone in the face. It didn't seem like any real anger was still there, and that whole way Alvarez was conducting himself in that sort of interview, it didn't seem very convincing to me. Like he's really annoyed about it. Like that's where the acting started to come apart at the seams a bit.
Yeah, I ain't buying it. Although it would have made great sense. Panel of legends, minus Kong. Salute to everybody. That's the Aaron Daly. Much appreciated, Aaron Daly. Much appreciated. Aaron Daly becomes our first sponsor of the show. And let me remind and reiterate, we do need a sponsor for every show, because as great as the show is, the numbers aren't really going through the roof. But I don't know, maybe quality doesn't sell as well as, mass market Gabaggio. So yeah, I mean, hey, this is quality. I mean, I'm all about quality. That's the number one importance to me in everything I do, quality. And so I've reviewed it, I've looked at it, I've observed it, and the quality is up there. So I'm happy with that. So thank you very much to the Aaron Daly. Okay, so what we saying? Let's go around the panel. And as a matter of fact, I keep on forgetting one of our superpowers. One of our superpowers these days is to make a poll, and the first poll will be: actually, there's a few other elements I need to talk about with this thing, but first and foremost, was the fracas staged? Everybody knows what fracas means, I take it. Was the altercation, fracas stroke altercation. Everybody knows what that means now. Was the fracas stroke altercation staged? Let's answer that question. Yes or no. Ask your community. I'm going to put a question mark. Just technicality. Boom. Dang. Where are we? I'm not picking Plant, but I think Alvarez is in for a fight, and the Fight Doctor comes through with more support and becomes the second sponsor of the show. Much appreciation. Okay.
Do you know what I've also found interesting?
Yeah.
That there's a group of fans that think Alvarez has come away from this in the driving seat, and a group of fans that think Plant has come away in the driving seat. Whenever I see argy-bargy like this in the build-up to a fight, I never really take much notice of it.
Right.
One of the best examples was when Tyson tried it on with Lennox Lewis. It didn't really make any difference to the fight in the slightest.
Hold on. When Tyson, that's an interesting aspect. When Tyson tried it with Lennox Lewis, my opinion was Tyson was the one who was scared. Tyson tried it on with Lennox Lewis when he bit his leg. He tried to intimidate Lennox because he himself was intimidated.
Well, that could well be true.
No,
yeah,
but
whether he tried to do that.
Everybody stop for a second. One at a time. That is what my position has always been. Tyson tried it on with Lennox because Tyson himself was intimidated. I was trying to put some intimidation on Lennox. Walked up to Lennox. Remember, the bodyguard stepped in the way. Tyson whipped, went with the hook, whipped the hook over, trying to take him out. The bodyguard moved back, and Lennox Lewis hooked a lower hook, hooked Tyson in the head. And I think that all stemmed from Tyson being intimidated. But carry on, John.
But for me, Tyson was always intimidated by Lennox. He actually didn't he pay $4 million to not fight him.
Yeah.
And when I see stuff like this, I don't think it changes the dynamic. Fans read what they want to read into it, because at the time there was a huge contingent of people that thought that Lennox hadn't shown enough grit against Tyson when he did this to him.
Yeah.
And then there's other people that read what you read into it, that he was scared.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it made any difference. I think the outcome of that fight, whether it had happened in their prime or then, I think Lennox would have always beaten him. I just think he had his number.
So your point is
my point is that the sets of fans will read what they want to read into this type of behaviour.
Oh, yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, it makes no odds to what happens in the ring.
Makes no difference, in my opinion. The Fight Doctor.
Yeah, I don't think the Lewis-Tyson analogy works here. There are several different reasons. First and foremost, Tyson was done, right? I mean, let's be honest. Tyson had been done since 1990. I would personally argue he'd been done by 90. Certainly, he was done after the jail stint. He was done. It was over, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I think Lennox Lewis understood at that time that Tyson was a toothless tiger. You know, lots of roar, but no bite. You know, I mean, who had Tyson beaten in the 10 years leading up to the fight with Lennox Lewis? So this is a different scenario where in Caleb Plant, you have a guy who, you know, maybe isn't at the top tier, but young and hungry, undefeated. So he doesn't know what to lose. He doesn't know how to lose, you know, and has nothing to lose. And apparently isn't coming to lose, you know, from just how I read his body language and his reaction and what he's been saying. So to be completely honest, I think the fracas yesterday might have been Alvarez trying to intimidate Plant and finding himself frustrated when Plant was like, no, sir, we're not having it, which is, I think, why he got physical. Because I just don't think Alvarez is, you know, he hasn't been in this situation in a while, you know, where, like I said, lately he's been fighting toothless tigers.
Yeah.
Okay. He's been fighting guys who got the memo, you know, like this is not a fight. This is a showcase. Whereas now, yeah, this is not a showcase. This is a fight, you know, and again, I'm sure that Alvarez has whatever Caleb Plant said to Alvarez. I know for a fact. I'm almost positive he's heard those words before. So, and then what I really found curious is that at the moment Alvarez pushes Plant, you could see somebody walking up behind Plant as if to grab him, which in my mind was rather telling. Like, why did you choose this moment to push this guy? You know. So. Yeah, you know, I don't think there was any winner or loser yesterday. Well, I'll take that back. I think there was a loser yesterday. That was Caleb Plant, so much that he suffered an injury.
Yeah.
So he's a loser in that respect because, you know, I mean, I don't care what you say, but that scratch, you know, how do you spar? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we still got, you know, I mean, how many weeks do we have left before the fight?
Isn't it? Is it 6 weeks out?
Yeah. So now I think there's a dynamic here that changes with regard to Team Plant because you have to account for, well, I have the scratch, so maybe I can't do the same type of training I would do leading up to this fight. So you know, there was definitely a loser. Definitely.
I've got a real genuine question for you, Fight Doctor. You're telling me that Plant thinks he can win. This is my real question. Do you think that Plant thinks he can knock out Alvarez?
Do I think that Plant? So I don't know that Plant is a knockout puncher, right?
Because I think he very much knows he can't knock him out.
So I don't think that's his game plan, you know.
Yeah, but how is he going to win on the cards against Alvarez?
Well,
because he could win. He could genuinely win and get robbed on the cards very comfortably against Alvarez. So he must know that there's a good chance that could happen.
Well, I think if I'm Caleb Plant, I'm coming to win, but I'm not coming to do something stupid. If I'm chasing this guy around the ring looking for the knockout, well, I'm probably going to get outpointed.
But so he doesn't have knockout power. So my argument is he knows he can't win because even if he does win, he'll get robbed.
Well, I don't know that he knows that. What I do know is just from my read of his body language is that he believes he can win, right? I don't think that he has any shortage of confidence here. Now, if he's robbed on the cards, that's something else. But at the end of the day, all he has to do...
You'd have had to have been living on a desert island to think that it's impossible that you're going to get robbed on the cards against Canelo Alvarez.
It's a PBC show, though. So
I don't know how much sway that has over the proceedings.
That may.
Where is it? Which commission is it in Vegas?
Is it in Vegas? That's a good question. That's a good question. Where is this fight? I'll leave it to somebody in the chat to tell me. But carry on. Whoever was speaking, carry on. Yeah, and then I'll come in after.
Well, listen, robbery, that's always, in the cards.
Hold on a second. Could people leaving messages not leave such big messages that it covers up the rear, the motorbike wheels? Anybody leaving future messages, please be considerate and not make it so big we can't see the full wheels of the motorbike.
I think people need to have an appreciation of this machine. There's some beautiful aesthetics going on here.
Can we
show some respect?
Show some respect.
Story fight, Doctor.
I've thrown the fight doctor the fight.
Well, because this is my point, that Fight Doctor's reading what he wants to read into this situation. I've seen a whole load of Canelo fans reading exactly the opposite of what Fight Doctor's read into it. And I think this has got all the fans excited on both sides.
No, I'm not reading what I want to read.
Well, what you are reading, what I'm hearing from the Fight Doctor.
Everybody stop. Why am I hearing myself coming through somebody's microphone? 1 2 1 2. Well,
I wasn't muted then. So
no, that must have been the Fight Doctor. Okay. Yeah.
All right. How's my audio now?
1 2 1 2. Yeah, good.
All right. So I'm not reading what I want to read into the situation. I'm just reading the situation, right?
Well, I would disagree with you because I'm completely neutral in this. I think one's a steroid cheat and I think the other one's not very good. So I just don't really care what happens. I'll be honest, I'm not particularly interested in the fight. There's a lot of Canelo fans that seem to think that Canelo's won round 1, 10-8. And then I'm hearing a lot of people that sit on the PBC side of things coming off with the narrative that plants living rent-free in Canelo's head. That I don't care either way, so I'm not really invested in either storyline, which is what I think it is, all just a whole load of WWE storylines, to be honest. And that's what I'm hearing from you, Fight Doctor. That's pretty much what you said. You think that Plant has gained some sort of psychological edge from this situation, and that Canelo's struggling to deal with someone who can stand up to him or who thinks they might win.
So
and I'm hearing the opposite from everybody that thinks that sits in the Canelo side of things. And I normally do hear PBC narratives coming from you, to be honest.
So I'm not on either side of this. I'm just reading it as I see it, right? And again, let's look at the facts here. Now, the fact is that Alvarez put his hands on this man unprovoked. And I don't care what he said. Simple fact of the matter is Caleb Plant had his hands behind his back. So he wasn't physically threatening Alvarez. He was talking to him. Now, the point of a press conference is to talk smack.
But not smack.
No.
Okay, sorry.
But from the fighter's point of view, that's the point of the press conference. You show up to the press conference to tell the other side, I'm going to whoop your ass. And maybe in the process of doing that, you talk about him. Okay, you call his character into question. And certainly there's something to question here because the man is a proven PED cheat. And perhaps, listen, getting into your opponent's head is part of the game. Has been. Sonny Liston, Mike Tyson. The boxing history is replete with fighters who were all about the psychological advantage, right? And me personally, I think that you gain a psychological advantage when you can essentially make your opponent bend to your will, which is exactly what happened here. Because Caleb Plant was running off at the mouth, and Alvarez reacted physically to what this man was saying. What that tells me is that Alvarez, for one, I don't recall ever seeing Alvarez push a guy before. So he's acting out of character. So you have to ask yourself the question here: who has the psychological advantage when one guy is cool as ice and acting totally within his character, what he normally does, and the other guy is coming out of character and doing something unusual?
Okay, well, I've got to just disagree with your whole premise here. A press conference prior to a fight is not, the purpose isn't to talk smack. The purpose is to sell the fight. Now, some people use smack talking as a means to sell the fight. If your name's Derek Chisora, you usually employ these type of antics to actually sell a fight. And I just think this was part of the sales process. So I'm not going to sit here and try and interpret who's gained a psychological edge here, because I'm not saying people can't, but I definitely don't know who I think's got a psychological edge.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you, because I think that
so you don't think that press conference is to sell a fight. So I
think that's one of the purposes of the press conference.
But
in my mind, it's not. But in my mind, it's not the sole purpose. So right? It's a fight, not a tickling contest. And certainly, a press conference is an opportunity for you as a fighter to gain an edge psychologically over your opponent. You look at him, you say things he doesn't like, you talk about him, you call his character into question. Listen, fighters have done this at press conferences since.
Yeah, so
it's not like Caleb Plant invented this. He didn't.
No, I don't.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna have to bring this. To a conclusion. We've got other things to talk about. Other things to talk about. But what I will say, Canelo's demeanor has been different for a while now, since he left Fishnets. Yeah, is Canelo Alvarez getting too big for his boots? Is he just a little bit? Of course, I was joking, but okay. Is he getting a little bit too big for his boots? Is he just getting a little bit too cocky? Or do you deserve to be cocky? Are you inevitably cocky when you reach those high? This is a rhetorical question because we've got to move on. When you reach those high levels, Jay Blue's up in the building. Do you automatically get cocky? Well, I think not. Because we've seen the likes of where would I start? Pacquiao. We've seen the likes of Pacquiao remain humble. We've seen the likes of, I was going to say Muhammad Ali, but no, that's maybe not the best example. We've seen who else is humble. Stay humble.
Joe Louis.
Joe Louis was humble to a fault. Who else? Anyway, I'd have to sit and think about it. Who were the humble ones?
I'm surprised, Raph. What about Marvelous?
I was thinking about him. But I think because of his intensity, maybe some people might not have seen that as humble, because he had an intensity which might have kind of freaked some people. But anyway.
But he was the working man. So for me,
he was a blue collar guy. He was a working man. No question about it. Is Canelo Alvarez getting a bit too big for his boots? Well, listen, he's the king of the hill right now in that region.
The thing you got to think, Raphie, is if people are prepared to change the rules about ped use to facilitate your behaviour, how is that going to help you keep your feet on the ground?
Exactamundo is being facilitated. He's been, what do you call them? What do you call people who facilitate bad behaviour? He's been
enablers, Raphie. Enablers.
He is being enabled, and as a consequence of which, un momento, mami, slow your tempo. As a consequence of which, he's getting too big for his boots. And but like I said, he's got enablers all around him, and so that may remain for a while. But I ain't buying this mother excuse that he used. Is what we call it? What do we call it now? The mother defense. I ain't buying the mother defense because he's used it himself. So That to me is a load of crapola. He's been enabled. Who got the psychological advantage? Does somebody walk away with a psychological advantage? Sometimes people do walk away.
Even Espinoza.
Sometimes people do walk away with psychological advantage, and the person who walks away with it on this particular, why is that still up? Let me drop this. It's the person who walks away with it on this particular occasion, I'm afraid to say, is Canelo Alvarez. Walked away. He's the one who cut the other guy, slapped him in the face. His eyeglasses, his shades. I don't know why Caleb Plant didn't take off his shades. Canelo took off his shades. I don't know why he didn't take off his shades. He should have took off his shades, because when he got slapped, the shades cut him. So it would appear. So I think Canelo Alvarez walks away with the advantage. Yeah, people.
Yeah, well, I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you walk away with the advantage when you got pimp slapped?
Who got pimp slapped?
Canelo did. He got pimp slapped.
Come on, though. He did get pimp slapped. He did get the 5 fingers of death across his face. But, yeah, we've seen some other bad behavior at press conferences before.
Now, see, that's what Alvarez should have done. He should have
walked away with a psychological advantage here. Who walked away with a psychological advantage here between Riddick Bowe?
I think Bo did. But this is what Alvarez should have done. He should have just, instead of pushing him like a girl, he should have just two-pieced him. Just like Riddick Bowe did right there. All right? That's what he should have done.
Two-piece, no soda.
Right. No biscuit, no drink, no fries, just a two-piece.
No just a two-piece, no soda. That's disrespectful. You're going to two-piece a man and not give him a soda?
No, just a two-piece. Well, that's what it's about. It's about disrespect.
Just you give him a two-piece and you don't give him a soda?
No soda.
Damn. Okay, so what I'm saying is we're seeing some further misbehavior. What I'm saying is I think that people do look for edges. And does Canelo need the edge? The psychological? Nah. The man's like you said, he's like a little bit of a robot now. He's like RoboCop right about now, walking around like RoboCop. But ultimately,
Roy Bocop.
Yeah, Roy Bocop. Ultimately, Canelo's gonna win. He's a winner right now. He's been enabled. I think he got grazed. With the 5 fingers of death. So yeah, but Canelo's been enabled. He's been enabled. I thought Canelo slipped it. Now I think it touched. I got some pictures. The press conference was better than the actual bout itself, 100%. I got some pictures where it touches. But the point is, I think Canelo's being enabled. He's like walking around like Roy Bocop. He's going to win the fight. Me personally, I don't think... I think what was the last big fight for Canelo? I mean, I did enjoy him smashing Billy Joe Saunders. But really the last big fight he was in, to me, was against Gennady Golovkin. And I can't see what the next big fight
that's is. The last time anybody actually believed he was going to lose.
Yeah.
And he's suffering from the fact that nobody sees a viable opponent that can beat him at the moment. Because to actually beat him, you have to think that this person can knock him out, because nobody thinks that Canelo is going to lose on the cards, whether he deserves to win or not.
Indeed. What else did I want to say on this topic? Canelo, I've had enough of Bowe punching that man in the face. Hold on, let me stop that.
It was quite funny. It was quite a funny one, though.
I was very disappointed in Larry Donald for not responding. I was extremely disappointed. Not that I was a fan of Larry Donald, but it's just out of line. You're gonna make a man give you a 2-piece like that, and you don't do ish? Are you ishing me? I get pissed off every time I see it. I just have principle. He even drop a nut on him. I don't care. At this point, when he turns around like this, you don't do nothing.
Dropping the nuts perfectly legitimate in those circumstances.
Right now, you must be having a laugh. Look at this. Look how he turns around.
To be honest with you, Raph,
Look at this.
even a swift knee to the groin would be okay.
He just turns around and faces the man, and the man still got his hands behind his back. Are you? Huh? What is that?
Maybe fighting's not for him, Raph.
Look at this. Look at this. Hold on. He's got his hands behind his back now. Look at this. Hold on. Oh no. Further on. Okay. Oh. Okay. This is okay. So this is the stance. This is how they're standing. They're both facing forward, shoulders facing forward. Now look at this. Man's just turned around to face you. What do you think's gonna happen? Look at this now. Now he takes his hand off the thing. So both hands available. You still got your hands behind your back. What the is going on? Watch this. Look now. Look now. Boom. Boom. Yeah.
The hands don't even move when he takes the first blow, do they?
That's a punk move. But anyway, yeah. Anybody want to say anything, round off this thing before we move on? Hold on. How times change. Hold on. Let's take this in. I'm not mocking the fella. But this is Bo today. I think he was in a fight. I heard that the fight got called off. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but it's luckily that it did. That was then.
No, haven't they given him another license to go again?
I think it's been called off. Bo, I think it's been called off. I read something that's been called off. Don't quote me on that because I ain't pulled nothing up on the screen. This is just just before I went live. I saw something that said the fight had been called off, but that is not an official statement from the Raphie. I'm just telling you what I heard. I'm not saying that it is correct.
So there's rumors out there suggesting
it's just a rumor. As far as I'm aware, there's a rumor out there. I'm not saying it is a fact. I'm merely reporting this as a rumor. Okay, so that kind of let me bring that down because we're not talking. Let's close that down. So I think there was an element. There was a. What am I looking at? This is old stuff. Come on, what's going on? Where's the new stuff that I saved? Was it old stuff? What about the stuff from last night? What's going on? Oh, okay, we're good now. Okay, so
What happened is
shut up.
Shut
up. So okay, that's it for the Canelo section. To round it off, let's just say I'm going to go to the poll after this, but let's just go around the panel and give your prediction on the Canelo versus Plant fight.
Canelo to win by stoppage rounds 8 till 10.
The fight doctor. You cooking your mushrooms? Or the fight doctor stirring his mushrooms? The fight doctor is sauteing his mushrooms. Okay. What I say? Canelo by victory. Knockout in between round 7 and 9. What did you say, John Daly?
8 and 10. We're pretty much on the same page with it.
Okay. Cool in the gang. Fight doctor will be back shortly when he's finished soaking his mushrooms. That's that. Psychological edge. Did he need it? Not really. I think that there's no way. There's no way in hell. What was my train of thought? There's no way in hell.
Well, he definitely didn't do that to Lennox. He didn't go anywhere near fighting Lennox.
There's no way in hell that Caleb Plant beats Canelo Alvarez in my book. No way in hell.
Well, what shocked me was the way Fight Doctor was disparaging all the victories of his recent opponents when most of them have actually got better resumes than Plant. Plants looks horrible. He's going to have to pull out. Bo definitely didn't do that to Lennox. He ran away from Lennox.
Why didn't Bo do that to Lennox Lewis? Yeah, there's a clip of Bo walking past Lennox. Lennox was doing the commentating on a Bo fight, and Bo stepped to him and said, "Yo, I thought you was cool, man. Why you say that about me?" And Lennox just said, "Well, bring it." No, he said, "No." He said, "I say what I want to say." And then what did Bo say? "I should knock you out." And then Lennox kind of moved took his headset off or lowered it or something, or put his mic down and said, "Yeah, bring it. Bring it. Bring it." With his Canadian accent, and Bo walked off. He knew better. He knew better. You know, Duppy know who to frighten. West Indians
well,
say.
That man that Bo was bullying, he doesn't look like he should be in a boxing ring. Did you see his neck? He got like
Quiet boy. This ain't for quiet boys. This ain't for quiet boys. Anybody know if Canelo broke his finger in that? I don't think so. I don't know. I haven't heard that. About Bo was a crazy man. He turned the other cheek, but then got slapped on that side too. OMG. Larry Donald ate those shots. Why Bo didn't do that to Lennox? Because he knows he was up against a man who wasn't gonna take no. He ate that meal. Lewis would have dealt with him on the spot. Please chill, Bo. Please.
I think Lennox is still a bit angry with Riddick, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he is. When Riddick threw the WBC belt in.
Yeah.
Canelo stops him in 8. Canelo 6-9. Canelo 6.
Ooh, Phil's gone the earliest.
Very confident. Phil's gone the earliest. I think he's going to put a bet on it. Lennox's interaction with Bo was awesome. Yes, it was. Lennox called him a chicken Bo, not particularly cutting insult, but still, hey, nobody wants to be a chicken.
Lennox was much better with his hands than he was with his mouth.
Nobody wants to be a chicken pot noodle. Is the fight doctor come back yet? Let's take a look at the poll, hopefully. Yeah, it's muted. Okay, so let's do this. Let's bring up the poll. What's going on? Let me see the poll. Was the fracas altercation staged? 21% of respondents said yes. 79% said no. OMG. Yeah, it looked real to me. But hey, I guess we'll never know. Maybe when they write a book at their end of their careers, they'll tell us. So until then, we won't know. Okay, Lennox Lewis was great, still is. Okay.
Not such a good pundit, Raph. I'll be honest.
I don't take his punditry work too serious. Definitely not talking about his punditry work. Okay, so. We ran long on that one. People want to talk about it, so be it. And where is this? A reminder of our sponsors to date so far. Aaron Daly, Panel of Legends.
That's Daly, not Daly.
Aaron Daly, yeah. Panel of Legends minus the Kong. Salute to everyone. And Doctor, the fight doctor. I'm not picking Plant, but I think Alvarez is in for a fight. I hope you're right. It would not. I would be highly pleased if Plant put it on him.
To be honest, if Plant won,
but I just can't see Plant doing it. I can't see Plant getting past the RoboCop. John Daly.
If Plant was to win, I would absolutely. I would laugh very hard. I'm trying to keep it PC.
I pull some wheels. I do a wheelie. I film a wheelie.
I just don't think Plant's very good, unfortunately.
No.
That's all it is. I'd like to see Canelo fight. Why have we gone blank on his name now? The Russian light heavyweight. What's his name?
Yeah, not Bradis. Bivol.
Yeah.
Or the other one.
No. The Bivol at 168. I'd be quite happy with that.
Yeah, I'll be happy with that. Yeah, I want to see that.
Bivol at 168 in my mind is a fail.
What? Damn, is he this
It's a fail.
Yeah, I'd like to know what you mean by that. Can you expand on the statement, please, Fight Doctor?
Okay.
That's an unusual circumstance. I've asked him to talk, and he's remained silent.
Leave his mushrooms, man. Leave the man to his mushrooms. Damn it, mushroom risotto. Leave the Fight Doctor to his mushroom risotto. Okay. So you know we're gonna have to move on, and you know what we're gonna have to move on to. You know what we're gonna have to move on to. There's Raphie thinking, yeah, but where the damn well is it? Where's the entry level to where I want to go? Where is the entry level? Okay.
Sorry, guys, I had a phone call come through. My apologies.
Yeah. Your mushroom risotto turned into a phone call. Okay, carry on. What you want?
So the reason why Bivol at 168 is a fail is because Bivol holds the title at 175, does he not? So why fight the guy at 168? Fight him at 175. Fight him in his weight class.
No. But did you notice what Canelo tried to do? Fight him at 170, so he would still drain Bivol, but Canelo's titles wouldn't be on the line. So the reason that I say 168 is because then Canelo's actually got something to lose.
It's a fail. Fighting Bivol at anything less than the light heavyweight limit is a fail in my mind. It's a fail.
Well, the reason that I say 168 is because Bivol could then become the undisputed super middleweight champion. He's not a big light heavy anyway.
Bivol's been talking about dropping down, so it's not a ridiculous concept.
The worst situation for Bivol would be to fight him at 170 because Bivol's drained, but he puts his title on the line, and Canelo keeps all of his 168 titles if he loses. It won't be put on the line if it's at 170, which is what they were talking about.
Well, exactly. We were talking about that. Yeah, so Fight Doctor, yeah. So that's like going down into the next man's wheelhouse, and if he beats him, which I think is very possible, then that's a mark. He's made a mark. He went down to the man's wheelhouse and beat him in his own backyard. There's something to be said about that. There is something to be said about that.
I remember how nobody gave Andre Ward credit for beating Chad Dawson. Chad Dawson was the reigning light heavyweight champion, challenged Ward at 168, came down to 168, got soundly beaten. Nobody gave Ward credit, right? Mm-hmm. So listen, Ward, in my mind, Ward would have beaten Dawson at 175. He should have gone up and beat Dawson and took his title. That's what Ward should have done. That's what Alvarez should do. This talk about fighting a 75-pounder titleist at 68, in my mind, is nonsensical.
Do you think he should do it at 170 pounds?
No, he should fight him at the light heavyweight limit. There's been enough catch weight nonsense.
That's what the talk was about. So my argument is that's the worst of both worlds for Bivol, because Bivol can't win Alvarez's titles, and he's still going to get drained. So why not just do the extra £2 and take Alvarez's titles off him?
Okay. So we move on. Yeah, I'd watch that. Okay, we got to move on. Where do we start? We're gonna have to move into the Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk card. We're gonna have to. But first of all, news has come through that Anthony Joshua signs a career-long deal with Matchroom Boxing. And it's an interesting one, but it doesn't take anybody by surprise. What's AJ? 31, 32, 31, 32 this year maybe. So he's got what? 4 years, I think at the most left.
He could have more than that.
He could have more than that, but I hope he gets out at 36. I don't want to see. I think it's good enough. You're a millionaire now. Why take more punches to the dome? Every fight you're in, you got to think you got to be losing some brain cells every time you get touched. And so I think that's a 35, 36. I mean, how long did Klitschko go on? He went on until about 41. and he's still in good shape, it appears. So it can be done. George Foreman, great. Seems to be very, very sharp as attack.
Lennox. How old was Lennox? 38?
38, yeah. Lennox. So 30. You can go on. You can't go on beyond.
Wait, Lennox Lewis is a lot older than 38 years old. Oh, you mean how old was he when he retired?
When he retired.
Okay, I got you. Right.
When he retired.
And Lennox did it the best way. Went out on
a win on one of the new gen guys. Vitaly Klitschko went out beating one of the new gen, generation. So really, I think the safest age, we're looking at the safest age to retire is, there's so many variables, but if you want to just find a mean measure, then I'd say as a heavyweight, you go out to 36, you're in good shape. Carry on beyond 36, now you're getting into tricky waters. You can go on till 40, but then those 4 years are risky. You're getting punched in the head for an extra 4 years. I don't know. 36 is good. So it was no surprise to me when the news came out that Anthony Joshua is signing pretty much a lifetime deal now. The rest of his boxing career with Matchroom. Of course, he's got his own. Eddie Hearn came out and said, well, he's his own boss. He's got his own management team around him. He's got his own business team around him. And Eddie Hearn's Matchroom work is simply a subcontractor for Anthony Joshua Enterprises. So Matchroom work for Joshua. He just outsources to Matchroom. So it's no surprise to me that for the next 4 years, he will be, for the rest of his career, he will be with, Matchroom will be working for him, the Fight Doctor.
I'm still sort of scratching my head. Like, why would you sign a lifetime deal with Eddie Hearn? I mean, maybe the deal is so sweet that he couldn't say no, but when I first heard that headline, I was thinking, like, what the hell? That was the first thing that popped in my mind. Like, why would you? But who knows? Maybe he owns half of Matchroom now. Who knows? So maybe that makes sense.
Well, I don't know. They're working for him. So he just chose a promotional company to work for him.
Yeah, well, I don't. But still, it seems to me that, have you not been paying attention to the Floyd Mayweather model and what he's been able to do? By being his own boss.
Well, he is his own boss. That's the point. He's got some people working for him.
No, he's not his own boss, because as long as Eddie Hearn is a promoter, Eddie Hearn gets to make the decisions. Who you fight, who win, where you fight.
Oh my gosh. Do you not understand that Joshua has Joshua Enterprises and Matchroom is one of the people that he has work for him? Do you not understand that Anthony Joshua has his own management team, and his management team, they outsource to Matchroom?
But the question is, who promotes Anthony Joshua?
Matchroom.
Right. Floyd Mayweather promotes Floyd Mayweather.
Okay, and he has a very ishy reputation.
Well, listen, he can have the ishiest reputation there is. But at the end of the day, Floyd Mayweather is counting. Look, Floyd Mayweather and his ishy reputation is carrying that ishy reputation all the way to the bank.
And where do you think Joshua's going? He's going to the bank at the same time Floyd Mayweather's going to the bank.
Well, he's not cashing Floyd Mayweather Jr. checks. I can promise you that.
He isn't cashing Floyd type.
No. He hasn't made it to that level yet. He hasn't made it to that level yet. But who else would you have work for him? Who else?
I think the Fight Doctor's failing to understand this setup because he's thinking about an American-based model, and this is done very differently. Eddie Hearn, as promoter, actually does listen to his high-profile fighters. Eddie Hearn is still a promoter for Canelo. He still gets employed by Canelo. And I think that will continue after this fight. Canelo waited to fight plan. Hearn stepped away from it to get the deal done. What will be interesting is if AJ announces a network deal after this fight, or if he remains a network free agent. Because if he does become a network free agent, that will probably be actually on Eddie's advice. Eddie's gone on record. He advised Canelo to stay a free agent from a network point of view, which has facilitated him going over to Showtime to become undisputed and make a lot of money. So basically, every time Canelo fights at the moment, there's a bidding war to stage his fights. And if Eddie advises AJ to do the same thing, AJ will make more money in his fights to come, because he'll be a free agent and people will be fighting to get him to fight on their platform.
All right. So
another factor with the Mayweather thing is that Mayweather made his money off fighting more popular fighters than himself. I repeat, Mayweather made the bulk of his money off fighting more popular, or rather bigger draws than himself. Whereas AJ is fighting in a division where he is the biggest draw. So there you go, Fight Doctor. That's a big difference. AJ, that Mayweather got big off fighting bigger fighters than bigger in terms of popularity, income, revenue. Bigger fighters, bigger fighters than himself.
And what network was Floyd Mayweather beholden to? He wasn't a network free agent.
Right, he was on the top rank initially.
So being a network free agent,
TNT, he had to fight on Showtime.
So being a network free agent has nothing to do with the price of tea in China or the topic of discussion at hand.
Yeah, it does actually, because we're talking.
No, actually, it does not, because we're talking about
time.
What we're talking about here is who promotes who. Now, Floyd Mayweather Jr. has an agreement with Viacom, right? But he is self-promoting. And ever since Floyd Mayweather essentially broke out of his slave contract from Top Rank, his money has been, in the stratosphere by self-promoting. And maybe the way promotion works in the UK is different, but AJ, obviously being, one of, if not the most prolific fighter in the world right now, active fighter in the world right now, it just seems to me that it would make more sense if he would adopt the Floyd Mayweather Jr. model and promote himself. Why is it that Joshua needs Hearn to do what exactly? Shine his shoes? What does he need him for? Okay,
John
what?
B. Lee.
Well, Eddie has successfully had a big hand in making AJ the star that he is today. Eddie put AJ on the undercard of Carl Froch when Carl Froch sold out Wembley Stadium with 80,000 people. He knew how to take him around the country, whip up interest. He managed to get AJ in a pay-per-view fight for a domestic level fight with another prospect that did about 500,000 buys in this country. That was promoted by Eddie. Eddie has done a good job in getting AJ into the position that he is in now. Contrasting that with Floyd Mayweather, who was signed to Bob Arum, who has done a consistently poor job at promoting any fighter in the last 20 years, then it's just not comparable. What Floyd did, getting out of the contract with Top Rank, was a piece of genius. And it was absolutely the right thing to do for Floyd. But Raphie's made some tremendous points. A lot of what Floyd did was he understood his position in the market. He knew he wasn't necessarily the one selling all the tickets. So he fought the right fights against the big names. He beat them because of his level of talent. and he continued to market himself as a heel. AJ isn't a heel. AJ doesn't have these dance partners who can bring big numbers along with them. And if you look at when Floyd didn't fight big names like Berto, he didn't really sell. So the circumstances are just totally different. And I don't think he needs to promote himself to make money. Do you know how many fighters AJ's actually got signed to him? He's got a stable of fighters under his management company. AJ's got like quite a big stable of fighters that he manages. He's making lots of money from all sorts of different ways. You know, he's doing adverts all across Africa. There are mobile phone networks in Africa that AJ does adverts for across African TV. He doesn't need to worry about promoting his fights because he gets a good deal from Eddie, because Eddie makes a lot of money because they sell huge numbers.
So you've told me everything else that I would want to know.
I'm telling you, I don't think that Floyd Mayweather model would work for AJ.
You didn't answer my initial question.
What's the question? Go.
The question was and is, why does Joshua need Hearn?
Hearn has successfully promoted AJ's fights to make them sell big numbers, and he continues to do so. There's not even a huge amount of buzz around this Usyk fight, and they sold out a stadium of 67,000 people.
Do you know, Fight Doctor, what a plug is in street parlance?
I'm sorry, you cut out for 1 second. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, do you know what a plug is in street parlance?
Yes, I know what a plug is. Yes.
All right, cool. Right. So Eddie Hearn is Joshua's plug. All right. So let me break it down in the simplest terms before we move on to another element and talk about the actual fight.
No.
I've but started, sir. I have but started. Okay. Old English. So Eddie Hearn, Joshua has people who work for him in different areas. He has a management team to manage. He employs a promoter to promote. He has an advertising guy to do his advertising. He has designers to design his clothes for AJ Boxing. So what Eddie Hearn is a worker. He's just another worker. He's like his management team. He's a plug. He's a plug. As the man sitting at the top of the tree, you identify people with different skills and you get them to work for you in different areas. You have your street team. You have your corporate team. You have your clothing team. You have your management team. You have your promotional team. So all AJ is a man sitting at the top of the pyramid. And that's a very sensible thing to do. You outsource. You outsource certain work. Tesco's, they don't grow strawberries. They don't grow. Do you have Tesco's in America?
Do we have who?
Tesco's.
I have no idea what the hell that is.
Do you have Asda? Do you have Asda in America?
No, we do not. Not to my knowledge.
Who the hell do you have? You have Walmarts.
Yes, we have Walmart. We have plenty of Walmarts.
Okay, so Walmarts, they don't grow the strawberries that you buy from them. They could do. They could buy a big farm and grow the strawberries. As a matter of fact, I got a better analogy. They don't grow mushrooms, okay? They outsource to a good provider, and it is more economical for them to do so than to buy their own farm.
Now, I hope you realize your analogy falls flat on its face.
No, I haven't finished my analogy.
Okay, continue, please.
When you outsource, the reason you outsource is because the provider you are using can provide more economically than you can. So he hasn't got to buy any offices, hasn't got to rent any office space. Yeah, those costs don't exist. It's cheaper for him to use Eddie than for him to set up a promotional firm himself. So you use a plug. Yeah, the plug has already plugged in. I think that's the simplest way that I can express it. Over to you.
So in the American vernacular, we use the word connect, right?
Okay.
Yes. So your plug is our connect. And when I go into a Walmart and I buy freshly picked mushrooms, right? The label on the package says Walmart. The sign over the front door says Walmart. Right. Now, I know that Walmart is not in the business of growing mushrooms or strawberries or, you know, manufacturing toilet paper, whatever it might be. But the package has a tag on it, and the tag says Walmart, right? So at the end of the day, when those mushrooms come in the back door and out the front door, it's Walmart who controls the transaction. It's Walmart who sets the price. Walmart sets the price of what they're going to buy the mushrooms for, right? And they actually dictate to the people who outsource, who quote unquote outsource these services. They dictate to them, I'm only going to pay you so much for these mushrooms. Why? Because I'm Walmart.
Well, hold on a minute. Do you ever listen to what Eddie Hearn says about this relationship, or do you think he's just lying? He always consistently says the same thing about AJ. AJ decides if he's going to accept that.
Listen,
the price.
Here's what I understand about
the one that has to okay everything. That's what Eddie says.
Here's what I understand about promoters, right? That promoters and fork tongues go together like strawberry, like peanut butter and jelly.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Bob Arum. All right, listen. Mr. Bob Arum. Let me finish making my point, please. Can I just please finish making my point? Wait, hold on a second. Wait. Can I please finish making my point, sir?
Let him finish his point.
Now, a very well-known promoter who's actually been promoting probably longer than Eddie Hearn has been alive, right? By the name of Bob Arum, is quoted as saying, yesterday I was lying, today I'm telling the truth.
I hear you say this every time we talk about promoters. It's nothing new.
Well, right? Listen.
How many fighters does Eddie Hearn take to court and stop fighting if they leave him? Because he doesn't. Well, Bob Arum, if you cross Bob Arum, he will stop you fighting. He will tie you up in litigation. He will take you to court. They behave differently. Their actions are different.
Yeah, so here's what I know about Eddie Hearn, that he was supposedly
make the last point, and then I'm going to top this off, and we're going to move on. Carry on.
Here's what I understand about Eddie Hearn, that supposedly he was invading America with all of that DAZN money, right? So DAZN gave him a blank checkbook to the tune of what, $100 million, however much it was, and he was going to use the DAZN money to coordinate this invasion, quote unquote, of America, and he was turned back at the shores of the Atlantic Ocean, essentially, right? He came over here with that money, and everyone essentially told him no. Nobody would talk to him. So that's what I understand about Eddie Hearn, that he says one thing, and in this case, what he said he was going to do, he didn't do. He fell short miserably.
But that's just failure. He failed.
Yes, he failed. Yes, Eddie Hearn failed.
That doesn't make him a liar in the same way that
it makes him a failure now, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's fine. There's no skin off my nose. He has failed.
So back to my original question.
Failed to conquer the American market.
Back to my original question, which you have yet to answer. Why does Joshua need Hearn? A failure.
Well, that is your best point, because Eddie has actually failed to deliver the undisputed fight. I do like this song, though. It's a very good song.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up. The whole debacle with Joshua and Fury, and Eddie Hearn selling us all snake oil, which I knew was snake oil from the beginning. I tried to tell you guys, nobody would listen. Everyone thought I was crazy. I kept trying to tell you this fight is not going to happen next. All right, and I recall being ridiculed on this show by present company. And what happened?
That I was wrong. You were
and
right.
What happened? And we have Eddie Hearn selling that snake oil, which you all were just more than happy to just buy.
So
buy the crate load.
We were wrong. So AJ
again, I ask, why does Joshua need Hearn? For what? To do what?
He clearly doesn't do anything, so he doesn't need him, and you're right. I'm sure we're going to move on to a more entertaining topic soon.
Yeah, we're gonna. Sorry, I was talking muted. Yeah, we're gonna have to move on from this. What I will say is that Eddie works for Joshua. He's doing it at a good price. Joshua's happy. The 258 team are happy. You should be happy too. It's very simple. It's not complex whatsoever. What's going on here? Okay, that's better. It's very simple. It's very simple. He's being employed by Joshua. Joshua's at the head of the pyramid, the center of the spider diagram. Eddie Hearn is an Anthony Joshua employee. Let me go through a few of the comments. That wraps that one up. Let me go through a few of the comments. I think it's been comprehensive explained to you. The Fight Doctor, there is no ambiguity. There are no question marks. It's been comprehensively explained. The way AJ's career has gone speaks for itself. Hearn has done a fantastic job. There's some earlier comments I'm sure I want to touch on. There was some good points made. I'm going to touch on a couple of them. Eddie Hearn has done a great job for AJ at this point in his career. He doesn't need to be with anyone else. Some boxers do not self-promote that well. In this case, Hearn promotes him. Joshua can concentrate on his job, on his boxing. Yeah. Self-promote. I mean, he's got a man to promote him. You don't need to self-promote.
It's the art of good management, Raphie, knowing who to delegate to.
Delegation. For goodness sakes, there's one man supposed to do everything. That's utterly ridiculous. He's got a great team that's doing big things out there. Let me see if I see another comment. Roots. Yeah, he's employed Eddie Hearn for a reason. Is Joshua supposed to not focus on the boxing? He's found a guy that he can work with, or a team that he can work with, that enables him to focus on the important thing, which is the boxing. We're not going around Mulberry Bush no more. Everybody's had a full up and ample opportunity whatever they wanted to say. So this is Dunsky. We move on. When I move on, I always like to have some visuals.
The visuals have been on point today, Raphie. I think you've actually done yourself.
Point. I've outdid myself. I'm proud.
Have you got the fire extinguisher handy, Raphie? Because you might need it.
OMG. But I don't want to fail on the last hurdle. I do not want to fail on the last hurdle. So let me compose myself. Hold on a second. I think I may have done it. Hold on, but that's them. That's them people. Them people like to say, oh, no, that was my thing. That was my picture that you... I'm just not going to use it in moving form. That's all. Still going to use it, just not use it in moving form. Okay, let's not fall down on the last hurdle. Okay, let's let the Raphie do his thing. All right, cool. We're there. Right, so we're going to have to talk about it. Alexander Usyk has come to town. The Fight Doctor. Alexander Usyk is in town. Talk to me. They're fighting in 3 days' time. What is it? Tuesday? Is it Wednesday? Thursday? Friday? 3 days' time. 3 days' time. 2 days and 23 hours or 22 hours. Talk to me.
Usyk getting knocked out.
Uh-oh. You're not going to make this very interesting. That's what you said. I was hoping you go the other way, damn it.
I mean, that's what I've been saying since the get-go. I don't.
No. Fight Ducks has been fairly consistent. Yeah. This is a terrible fight, and that we should be flaming Anthony Joshua over the coals for having the audacity to fight a cruiserweight in a world championship heavyweight title fight.
So I believe the argument that I made was we should be consistent with our logic, and that if
Fight Doctor with
now, gentlemen, please. Now, let's have some parliamentary procedure here, please. Okay, parliamentary procedure. Sir.
Oh, shizzle.
Now, gentlemen,
kill me with that one. He killed me with that one.
May I have?
I should super chat him for that one.
May I ask you two fine gentlemen for just a moment of intellectual honesty? Please.
Yeah, I'm stepping away, but one at a time. Don't interrupt each other. Thank you.
All right. So, will you guys admit that if this were Wilder fighting a cruiserweight, if this were Deontay Wilder fighting Usyk, right now Deontay Wilder will be getting raked over the coals for fighting Alexander Usyk. But somehow, for whatever reason, the Anthony Joshua cheerleading contingent believes that this is somehow a good fight. Right? Now, entertaining as it may be, I don't think that this is a good fight as far as producing clarity at the top of the heavyweight division. Or I don't consider this as even a significant fight for the heavyweight division, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a cruiserweight fighting a guy who's either number 1 or number 2 in the division. It's a guy fighting, it's Anthony Joshua fighting a guy who has proven nothing at the weight. He's 2-0, Usyk is, against nondescript opposition. Now, that's not my opinion. Those are the facts. Okay?
Can I ask you a couple of questions about this? Because you put these facts out there. I think they're fairly clear.
Yes,
I don't think you need to emphasize them any further. Was it legitimate for Joe Louis to fight Billy Khan?
Sure thing.
Okay. Was it legitimate for Muhammad Ali to fight Bob Foster?
Sure thing.
So why? Oh, no, last one. Was it legitimate for Rocky Marciano to fight Archie Moore?
That was more than legitimate. Moore had proven himself.
Okay. So they were all champions from the immediate weight class below.
Yes.
Isn't Usyk an undisputed cruiserweight champion who's undefeated?
Yes.
So doesn't that hold the same legitimacy?
The point that I'm trying to make here.
No, because we're saying consistent in our logic.
Straight question. It's a simple and straightforward question.
So
we heard a lot of talk about consistent logic. Yeah.
So the question in my mind.
The consistent logic is that this is a legitimate fight.
So the question in my mind is not whether or not this fight is legitimate or not. Now, if you wish to say that this fight is legitimate, I'm not going to argue against that. I mean, sure, it's a legitimate fight. Guy's moved up to heavyweight. He's a respected champion in the lower weight class. So yes, it's a legitimate fight. The point that I'm making is that if you change the name from Joshua to Wilder, that the Anthony Joshua cheerleading contingent would certainly view this fight in a much different light. And the tone and tenor would be much different.
Hold on a minute. I want
to come in here.
Can I ask one question, Raphie?
I just want to come in that now. You can ask me a question in a second. I want to come in here. What is your issue with Usyk, the fight doctor? Why is he not good enough? Why is he not good enough? Why are you suggesting he's not good enough?
So my issue with Usyk is that I think Joshua has other business to attend to. Now I understand that this is
what business?
Listen,
undisputed. Those two guys are fighting each other. Come on now.
I understand that this is a mandatory, and there's a bit of arm twisting going on here. And I sincerely think that perhaps Joshua did not really want to have to take this fight. Right?
So what?
But at the end of the day, right? If this were Wilder fighting Usyk instead of Joshua, the Anthony Joshua cheerleading contingent would have a different tenor and different tone in their approach in their critique of this fight.
Can I ask Raphie a question now? Can I ask Raphie the question?
Yeah, okay.
Raphie?
Yeah.
Of all the numerous cruiserweights that Deontay Wilder has fought in title defenses, how many of them were world champions at the cruiserweight division?
This cruiserweight, who is not a cruiserweight, but is actually a heavyweight now, is far superior to any other cruiserweight that you can mention on Deontay.
No, he might be the best cruiserweight.
Yeah.
But of all the cruiserweights that Deontay Wilder has fought, how many of them were world cruiserweight champions?
Well, none of them were. None of them were.
Yeah, thank you. That was my point.
Name me one cruiserweight that Wilder fought that is at the level of Alexander Usyk, the fight doctor.
You guys do realize, of course, that Usyk is less proven at the weight than virtually all of Wilder's opponents since having won the WBC heavyweight championship, right?
He's the highest.
He's less proven.
He's the highest caliber cruiserweight.
Okay.
Higher than any.
Hold on a minute, right? So
Usyk has fought.
I'll name a cruiserweight that Deontay Wilder defended his WBC title against. What's the Polish name? Kidney. Artur Szpilka. How many world titles did Artur Szpilka win at cruiserweight?
So once again,
I'm waiting for it.
Once again, the argument that the point is, now if you wish to pull a random fighter out of your hat and say, okay, well this guy wasn't as proven as
well, yeah, but that was
that's fine. And that's fine.
It was a world title defense.
I'm not trying to defend Deontay Wilder's record here,
like for like
right?
here. And
I'm just pointing out.
Question.
Listen, I'm just pointing out what is again. I'm just pointing out what is painfully obvious.
Which is Usyk is not as qualified as
pretty much all of Wilder's opponents since having won the WBC title. He's not. At heavyweight, he's not. He's not. He's not as proven as the majority of those guys.
Are you actually telling me?
There might be one guy.
Artur Szpilka was a more proven heavyweight than Alexander Usyk.
No,
is that what you're
saying? What I'm saying to you is this: is that Alexander Usyk is not as proven as the majority of the guys that Wilder.
Name me one. Okay, I'm going to round this one up, this section up before we move on to the fight itself. But fight doctor, name me. Let me just give a little. Okay, that's to the bronze plumber. The bronze plumber, thank you very much. No, I'm not going to bat anybody. But anyway, listen, name me. Okay, so just name me who you feel, fight doctor, is the top cruiserweight or former cruiserweight that Deontay Wilder fought. Name me the top one.
I don't care that Wilder. We're not even talking about cruiserweight. Why does cruiserweight even matter? We're talking about the heavyweight division.
Okay,
so I have nothing to say about the cruiserweight division. That doesn't figure into the equation here. Okay. I'm talking about heavyweights.
Okay, carry on.
In the heavyweight division.
Okay, carry on. So name me the best cruiserweight that became a heavyweight that Deontay Wilder fought, and we'll discuss that person.
Again,
I'm going to say Szpilka's the best cruiserweight that he fought.
Once again,
yeah,
I'm not talking about the cruiserweight division. I'm talking about the heavyweight division. Now, what has happened at cruiserweight is beyond the scope. All right. It does not figure into my mathematics here. It doesn't, right? So now, if you guys want to continue to talk about the cruiserweight division, you're more than welcome. But I'm not entertaining anything about the cruiserweight division. I'm talking about heavyweight.
I'm going to move on. Say what you want to say, because I'm going to move on in a second.
Well, you guys want to talk about cruiserweight division. I'm talking about heavyweights.
Listen, say what you want to say, and then I'm going to move on.
I've made my point, and it has yet to be refuted.
What is your point?
My point that Usyk is not as proven as the majority of the guys that Wilder has faced since winning the WBC title. Okay. That's my point.
Okay, so I'm going to finish this now, and then before we move on, Usyk is a lineal cruiserweight champion, far superior to any cruiserweight or any former cruiserweight that Deontay Wilder fought. Now, more to a point that you made. Would there be an outcry if Alexander Usyk were to fight what was fighting Deontay Wilder instead? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, is the answer because he's a cruiserweight, he's a lineal champion. Okay, we're going to get more into something an element that you want to touch on. We're going to do that directly now in the next stanza, the next point. Where is he? Hold on a second. Hold on. Don't disappoint me now. Don't disappoint me. Oh, there he is. Very good. Be good. We're in good shape. Okay. So now what I think you're talking about is quality. I think you're talking about Usyk's. What has Usyk done at heavyweight? I think that's what you're saying. And I will say at heavyweight, he's beaten. Who was he beaten at heavyweight? Chaz Witherspoon, and he's beaten
Derek Chisora.
Derek Chisora.
And technically, he also beat Tony Bellew. That was above the cruiserweight limit. That far.
Okay. And Tony Bellew. Okay. So what has he done? He's beaten an ex-cruiserweight champion, Tony Bellew. He's beaten Derek Chisora, who always gives people a hard time at the top levels. You just seen him against Parker. I thought he won. Some people think Parker won. Some people think it was a draw, but hotly contested. Now, Parker was in the top 10, is he not? He's in the top 10, generally considered consensus top 10 guy. And to me, he beat Parker. He was a top 10 guy. So, okay, we're not going to do triangle theory, but Alexander Usyk did beat Derek Chisora. I think, yeah, he beat Derek Chisora. I don't think that was there too much controversy over that? I don't think so. He beat Derek Chisora. So, okay, he hasn't set the world on fire yet, but he's only had 3 fights recently at heavyweights. He's fought previously at heavyweight, of course. So, has he set the world on fire? Not particularly, but he's a heavyweight who's beaten heavyweights, who's beaten top 10 heavyweights. So, the guy's a heavyweight now. Has he set the world on fire at heavyweight? Not to me. To me, he ain't spectacular at heavyweight, but he's there now. He's earned a position. He was lineal champion, and he is a highly accomplished boxer. And he's not going to turn into a boxer overnight. So, hey, he's earned his spot. I don't know if I agree just because you're lineal underneath and you're entitled to a title shot. I think you got to beat 3 top 10 guys. And then you get a title shot. But hey, rules is the rules, and Alexander Usyk is fighting Anthony Joshua. I'm gonna go straight back to you, the fight doctor. I think talk about the fight. Talk to me about the fight, like in 1 minute.
So I think that, well, a couple of things. Now, there was some chatter earlier this week about apparently some type of injury to Joshua's right arm. And I saw a picture where he was looked like he was doing maybe some pad work, and he had his arm wrapped in it was wrapped or whatever it was. And then I saw a second picture where it looked like he had some scabs or something on the back of his right arm.
I saw that.
Yeah. So, I mean, if his arm is injured, then that certainly could play a role, play an issue, But having said that, assuming that Joshua is at or near 100%, I think he gives Usyk problems. And reason being, we go back and look at the Chisora fight, in which I saw Usyk spend much of that fight running for dear life. And what happens when you have a guy in front of you who isn't a 40-year-old heavyweight, who isn't in pristine condition. Above and beyond that, I think I saw Chisora give Usyk fits, especially with the right hand. And Chisora was he was telegraphing and looping the right hand, and Usyk just did not seem to have an answer. I think that Usyk will have to worry about the Joshua uppercut, as well as his right hand and his left hook, to be completely honest with you. He will have to get past the Joshua jab. So I just don't see, in my mind, this does not play out. Again, I'm expecting that Usyk will not hear the final bell in this fight. Now, could something different happen? Yeah, sure. But just my reading of Usyk and his amateurish style, and what he is likely going to face on Saturday, the math adds up to Usyk not hearing the final bell.
John D. Lee.
Well, I certainly agree with the fight doctor's description of the way Usyk fights. His style is designed to be successful at the amateur level, which is why he predominantly fights on the outside.
Yeah.
He doesn't really generate any power in his shots, because in the amateur game that doesn't really matter. It's about landing accurately. And I think that's what the majority of his style is based on. The other thing that I think Usyk's style is based on, which is the one thing that I think Peter Fury actually highlighted in his breakdown of this fight, which was very good. Usyk's used to being a long fighter. At the cruiserweight limit, 78-inch reach is pretty long. And if anyone's got a longer reach than you, it's not going to be that significant. Honestly, in the heavyweight division, that's a fairly average reach. It's nothing special. The fighters that he has fought at heavyweight haven't really had a reach advantage over Usyk.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to change his style and come to AJ to land on AJ. So irrespective of how fast he can move with his feet, he's got much further to go. He's got to come in and he's got to go out to land and not get hit. Also, when Usyk throws punches, he leaves his head on the line.
Yes.
He leaves his. All you have to do to hit Usyk is throw when he throws.
Yes.
Unless he's got an amazing chin, I don't see how he can close the distance, land punches on AJ, and not get hit. And more worryingly than that, when he's put under pressure, he has a tendency to retreat to the ropes. Now, AJ knows how to bang someone to the body on the ropes.
Yes.
Is he going to be able to run around for 12 rounds if AJ traps him on the rope and smacks him up to the body? I don't care how much he covers up. Did you see what happened to Kevin Johnson when he got caught on the ropes by AJ? So I think AJ is going to get him out there somewhere between 7 and 9. And if you listen to Peter Fury's breakdown of the tactics, I think he's got it right. I think he's crediting Usyk with more power than he has, because Peter Fury says speed is power. Well, I think his nephew proves that that's not really the case, because some people have to take the power off their shots to generate speed. And some people who actually have natural power have speed when they throw powerful shots. And Usyk can, if he sits down on a punch, and you see when he does do it, it's actually like it goes into slow motion. He's got fast feet, but his hand speed when he's throwing heavy shots is not good. It's good when there's nothing on them. When there's nothing shots, he's got hand speed then. As soon as he loads up, it just goes into slow motion.
Well, my breakdown. I'm sure all of you have heard my breakdown. I think it was the Monday show. It was on the Monday show, and there's vulnerabilities. There's vulnerabilities with Usyk, and especially on the backhand. When he throws that backhand, he is ripe for count. When he throws his backhand is his left hand, of course. When he throws that left hand, he's ripe for countering. And guess what? He's ripe for countering with a right hook. And I was randomly scrolling through some videos, and I've seen Joshua deliver some extremely concussive blows with what? The right hook. the big area of vulnerability I have identified with Usyk is his backhand. When he throws his backhand, sometimes he's all at sea, very lazy, and he's ripe for the right hook, a punch, which is Anthony Joshua's bread and butter. That's his supper. And so that's just one area I see. I'm not going to go through the whole breakdown again. The video already exists. But what I'm saying that to say this. I'm saying don't be surprised to see Alexander Usyk knocked out. Don't be surprised. Usyk, obviously, everybody's singing his praises about how talented he is, how skillful he is, and that's all true. But he has vulnerabilities, and that's a gaping one for me. The backhand, it's a gaping one. What should Joshua do? Should he chase him all around the ring? Joshua should go in there, walk towards him until Joshua himself gets to the center of the ring. Just take a little marker pen, mark the center, walk to that spot there. If you encounter him before then hook. Left hook is available. And Joshua's got to do a lot of fake jabs. Joshua, I think, has got to do a lot of fake jabs. Get Usyk to react. Usyk likes to feel people out slowly. Joshua just walks over to him with his hands up and start pushing out some fake jabs. Don't even push out no real jabs initially, just some fake jabs. Get back covered up, fake jab, get back covered up, move to your right, move laterally, fake jab. Just do what Usyk does. Just I don't even know. Just do your own thing. Fake jabs, fake movements, a lot of feints initially, just to see where Usyk goes. But also with the feints, I mean, if he moves into something, it's got to be real enough to give him a little knock. So half strength shots, little half strength shots. See how Usyk's moving and know where you're gonna level him up, line him up for the big ones. That's what I see. A lot of feinting. A lot of people, I think they have a little bit of doubt in Joshua, because they don't know if he's gonna have enough finesse. They're questioning Joshua's finesse. But I tell you what, this fight to me is a test of Joshua's finesse, because he's gonna need finesse, in my humble opinion, to beat Alexander Usyk, and I think he's got it. But
I actually disagree with that.
This is a test of finesse. Come in the fight, Doctor.
Yeah, no, this is not. I see this as being a test of who's the smarter fighter and who is able to. It's a question of, is Joshua able to capitalize on his advantages? He's got the height, reach, and power. So I think he would be smart to work the body. All right, he's a sucker for right hands, so I would definitely keep my jab in his face, and I would be definitely making him aware that you make a mistake, the right hand is coming. So don't even think about throwing that left hand, because if you do, I got this right hand waiting for you. All right, and I would be working the dog-ish out of Usyk's body. So later on in the fight, you slow down, you're gonna be right in front of me, lights out. So I don't think that Joshua should come to this thinking boxing match. Maybe early, yeah, but I think Joshua needs to be putting his hands on Usyk. I don't think that he needs to be chasing him around the ring, but I also don't think he needs to be boxing with him either, right? I think he needs to be making it rough, making it uncomfortable. Put the Bernard Hopkins on him, okay, when he gets in close, tie him up. Hit and hold him. Remind him this is a fight. That this is what Joshua needs to do, in my estimation, is that he needs to give Usyk a proper welcome to the pro ranks. All right, that amateur style is not going to work. This is the heavyweight division. I'm the top guy here, and all this foolishness that you've been bringing to the ring, it's not. Yeah, it don't go. So me personally,
mathematically, that just don't go.
Right. Those are the mathematics that I think that Joshua needs to
I'm somewhere in the middle with this, because Usyk can do all the lateral movement out of range he wants. He can't score anything from there. And all AJ has to do is to keep disrupting his forward movement with jabs to the chest. He's shown he could do this to Povetkin really well. After about the first or second round, after the first round, Povetkin had some success. After that, Joshua threw a jab from the hip and consistently landed it on Povetkin's chest and stopped his forward momentum. He then started to time him on the way in. All he's got to do is time him with the right hand and frustrate him and keep him at bay. And Usyk can't actually score any points. He can't. He has to come to Joshua. So what Raphie's saying about holding the center of the ring and just putting the jab out, I completely agree with. But I wouldn't really worry about a jab in the head to start off with. Just pay him up and down and shoot it low, because you've got the reach advantage. Give him two different areas to be looking out for punches to be coming from, because then he doesn't know whether something's coming from low or whether he's getting the right hand over the top. And some lead right hands wouldn't go amiss either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some lead right hands, lead. Yeah. Throw that in when Usyk is dancing to his left. But obviously, with the lead right hand comes the left hand has got to be up.
Mix it up. I mean, don't start off with them, but once you've got down his movement patterns, use your reach. Lennox used to throw fantastic lead right hands when he had a good reach advantage because he had the space to get away with it.
Don't be surprised. What did you just say?
I said Lennox Lewis used to throw fantastic lead right hands when he had a big reach advantage because he got the time, because he got the reach.
Yeah. Actually, I agree. A jab is going to be the key for AJ. But here's the thing: I don't even know if the jab needs to land. Like the jab can distract and set up, use it as a feint or half power, and get the readings. How's he going to react to that? So I don't even think the jab is going to be important, but I don't even think it landing be important. It's not so much that it lands. It's so much. It's that he gets the read on Usyk, how Usyk reacts, and then the counter. So you're drawing him out. Yeah, land it as well. But sometimes use it as a feint. Mix it up. That's the finesse. That I'm talking about. What's this? AJ fights his best when he do not spar that much before a fight and saves himself, so Hearn needs to butt out of the way. Okay, I don't know if there's been some interruption.
You got some info I haven't seen.
What's the inside info? AJ needs that Lennox confidence and just go with the flow and get. Yeah, I agree with that. Usyk struggles when to box him on the back foot at range. Bradison value. AJ is bigger, stronger, and more skilled than those guys. AJ is also an Olympian, improving in every fight. I can see it going either way. My money's on Usyk. My prediction is on AJ. Yeah. You're covering your ass.
The odds are probably better on Usyk if you want to put money out there.
So now here's the problem for Joshua, which we haven't talked about this yet. The 500-pound gorilla in the room is AJ's conditioning. And we go back to the Klitschko fight, and I think it was the 5th or 6th where Joshua hit a wall pretty hard. And, it was a couple rounds where, in the middle rounds of that fight, Klitschko had essentially taken over and Joshua looked out of sorts. And primarily, in my mind, it was because, his tank was on E. So if that happens here, and assuming that Usyk, has his motor going and isn't feeling the effects, he could cause some problems with Joshua. So I think Joshua focusing on pacing himself and coming to the ring with a proper conditioning. So I think him having lost the weight, as long as the weight came off naturally, is a good thing, especially in this context. Because if he gasses in the mid rounds, that could be a problem.
Gasses in the mid rounds. I think he's lost weight. Gas is in the mid round. I think he's lost some weight. Speaking on his cardio, thinking about the cardio, making sure he's got the cardio. I think he's done some work on that. I think he's done some hella work on that. I'm looking for the thing to put the poll up. I'm looking to put the poll up. Carry on.
Why are you looking for that? As for the amount of weight he's lost, I'm going to be very interested to see if he's anything below 238.
I don't think he will be.
Because he was 240 for the Pulev fight.
Yeah.
And he went straight into camp like 2 weeks after that.
Yeah, I don't think he will be.
Because he was, I'm not sure he's really lost any significant weight. I think this happens a lot with AJ. He's very deceptive. Until he stands on that scale, I wouldn't be confident to say that he weighs significantly different from what he weighed against Pulev. 2 pounds in it, maybe.
Yeah.
And I think a large part of what you're actually talking about is fight management and inexperience.
Yeah.
He definitely entered his tank against Klitschko when he thought he had him out of there, and he was 100% gassed. He was also 253 pounds going into that fight, or 251.
Yeah.
It's his second heaviest. I think his heaviest was against Taka. He's looked like his gas tank looks decent, not perfect. When he's between 238 and 242, which he went 12 rounds against Parker at 242. He didn't get gassed in that fight. He was 238 in Yandy Ruiz rematch. Didn't get gassed for a second in that fight. Possibly he got a little bit gassed against Pulev. He either got gassed or he rethought things. It's difficult to know without being able to read his mind. But he did spend quite a lot of energy trying to get him out in the third.
Yeah.
So again, you could call that bad fight management. People talk about Usyk's gas tank, but his fight management, he starts really slow. He doesn't really spend a lot of energy. He waits for you to spend yours before he starts spending his.
Expending his NRG. The poll is up. The poll is up. We've done hella lot of overtime, but you got the bronze plumber to thank for that. You got the fight doctor to thank for that. You got the fight doctor to thank for that. And of course, the first person to sponsor the show was the Aaron Daly. Aaron Daly.
Move out of mom's basement.
OMG. Okay. Yeah. So, Leon figures. Canelo stops him in 8. Okay, so you got the poll up. So go ahead, everybody, and smash your opinion, your liking. We're gonna go around the table one more time and get the opinions. How come everybody's on the right now? Used to be on the left. What's that all about? How come you're not on the left? Okay, so that's one option. What happens there? You go over to the right, Go over to the right, and you go central. Then you come back over here. Okay, so everybody get your votes in, and then we're going to go around the table one last time to get people's opinions on how the fight ends. And then at the very end of the show, we're going to, it's coming on in a couple of minutes. So you're gonna see what the poll results were. Ideally, I would have put it in earlier. Okay, there's a little bit of scrapping going on between the bronze plumber and the fight doctor. Come on, guys, play nice. I'm
missing out on this. I need to have a look in the chat.
AJ hasn't shown any issues with stamina when he weighs 243 pounds or less, says Mara.
Well, there has been a bit of criticism of his stamina against Pulev. I'd say there's two interpretations to that, but you couldn't rule out that he spent a bit of energy in the third trying to get rid of it.
Yeah, I think he admitted as such. He kind of emptied the tank a little bit. AJ, as we are seeing from Raphie video, sets everything up with the jab. Okay, is that what you saw from the video? Well, the jab is what? Well, that's what the jab is for.
AJ's got a good jab.
That's what the jab is for. It's not reinventing the wheel. Nobody's disputing that. Certainly not. And I'm not saying that you're disputing that either. Ashley Banjo, how do you do? Okay, let's play nice. What a great fight to look forward to. Absolutely fascinating. I totally agree. I think it's fascinating. And I'm not ruling out that Usyk could do something. You can't rule it out in boxing. But I'm saying when I look at the probability tree, when I draw up a probability tree, it favors Anthony Oluwafemi Olansi Joshua. It favors him, I would say, significantly. What's Usyk's best performance at heavyweight thus far since his comeback? Was it the Chad Witherspoon? Was it the Chisora? It's hard to say. But listen, Usyk is a lot of people are underestimating Anthony Joshua's size, strength, power, but the finesse is the big question mark. It's the finesse. Has Joshua got the finesse to just do those little double jabs? Can he do some? Can he throw in a half? Can he throw in a half power punch? Every fourth punch, or every two half power, and then a power shot. Just snap the neck of Alexander Usyk. Not snap the neck, but snap it back. I'm not talking about breaking necks out here. Come on, don't misquote the Raphie. So yeah, that's just the finesse. The question mark for Joshua, I feel, is the finesse. And by Saturday night, we will have the answer. I think Joshua, we all know he's got the power, but does he have the finesse? That's the question. He's got the power. Does he have the finesse? I think so. So.
He's been working on it, and he's brought people in to try and teach him it. Yeah. So we're gonna find out what he's learned.
We're gonna find out what he's learned. Damn straight. Usyk can't win from the outside, but even when he gets inside, he has to worry about the uppercut, absolutely, and the tight hooks. Little step back on a hook.
AJ's got a pretty good left hook.
He's got a pretty good left hook.
With that.
Don't get it twisted. Got a pretty good left hook. AJ is the number one heavyweight. I think beating Usyk, the skillful Usyk does elevate Anthony Joshua. Did he need elevating though?
The thing is, Raphie, I think the fight that's illustrated this. All the naysayers are going to talk about how Usyk is going to win. And if AJ does win in convincing fashion, they're going to not give AJ any credit for it anyway. I'm predicting that now. I've heard a huge number of people predicting an Usyk win, and an absolute minimum that Usyk's going to last 12 rounds. And I guarantee you, if AJ knocks him out, not one of those people are going to give AJ any credit. The only person who are in the media who have thought has given a really balanced tactical view has actually been Peter Fury's breakdown. Has been very good.
Okay. All right, so we done well into overtime. We done double overtime. Okay, and now we are going to go for the poll. This is ridiculous. 100% say Joshua. OMG. That's crazy, yo. I don't believe that. I don't believe that nobody picked Usyk. This is madness, yo. And in 5 seconds, I'm going to end the poll. 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. 100% Anthony Joshua. OMG. OMG. You guys, play nice, play nice, play nice. It's a happy place. It's a happy place. And this is Raphie's happy face. Okay.
You might have to ask some of the moderators to step in at this rate. People are getting a little bit upset.
Okay, so guys, play nice. Please play nice. Please play nice. Okay, and yeah, 100%. Joshua, wow. Usyk does have a chance, but overwhelmingly, people feel. And I don't know, I'm going to tear it up the. Hey, listen, you guys, if you want to tear it up on the cobbles, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to arrange a fight on a warship somewhere in the mid-Atlantic. It's not really bad vibes.
There can be some good money in unlicensed boxing.
Yeah, it's a bit of unlicensed boxing. We're gonna have to get these two guys on the unlicensed boxing. Guys, play nice, be happy. Differences I don't like to feel. Oh, hey, come on, be nice. But anyway, it's a happy place. Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio is a happy place. I just need some of you guys to start sharing the videos out. The quality is up there. It's up there. I've seen, it's up there. Let's just not disparage anybody else. All I know is the quality up here is top notch. But the numbers, it'd be nice to get the numbers up a little bit. I don't obsess on the numbers. I focus on the quality. But we're gonna have to get the numbers up a little bit. So it means some of you guys are gonna have to join me in sharing this product, and it's a damn fine product. I'm sure you'll agree. They're best friends, really. They'll meet up and have a pint after this. Okay, but we have come to the end of the show, and I'm just going to go around the table, let people have their final words. The Fight Doctor, come on in. Final words, please.
I'm just looking forward to the fight Saturday. So I expect that Joshua will do what a heavyweight of his caliber should do, which is take out the trash. And, we can move on to hopefully, some clarity at the top of the heavyweight division in his next fight, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And that was the Fight Doctor. The Fight Doctor, much appreciation. Must appreciation. Okay, that was the Fight Doctor. Much appreciated. And we go to the final words of the John D. Lee.
Yeah, I am looking forward to the fight, and I've got fairly similar sentiments, to be honest. I think AJ's going to demolish him, but I've been wrong about this before, so we'll see. It's been a good show, Raphie. I'll try and share it, and hopefully everybody else will too.
Yeah, hopefully everybody else will start sharing this work. And that was the John D. Lee. Much appreciation goes out to the John D. Lee. And what else are we saying? What else are we saying? We're saying, yeah, it's a great show, very enjoyable. And thanks to everybody who took time out of their day to come and join. Thank you for the show sponsors, the Fight Doctor, the Bronze Plumber. Damn it. Hold on. Let me go over. The Aaron Dealey. And who else? I was the third person. Aaron Dealey. Hold on. I can't finish the show without giving people their due credit. Let me move over. There we go. Let me get a list. Okay, so it was the Aaron Daly, the T. White, the Fight Doctor, and the Bronze Plumber. So that was great. Thank you to everyone for coming. Of course, we're gonna do the live fight show. We're gonna be covering the show live. Raphie will be commentating. Some people may jump on. Peace around the world, sending you all free and healing love. Absolutely, that's what the Raphie does on a daily basis. OMG. Okay, and that brings us to the end of the show. It's the Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. It's the Boxing Talk with Raphie. Nice and cordial. It's the Boxing Talk with Raphie. Like the videos, share the videos. It's very important. I turned over a new leaf. Share the video. What else? Yeah. Hit all the good buttons, super chat buttons, the sharing buttons. It's the Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. And I'm out. Blessed.